that game, of course, I mentioned that game. Texas Tech will be playing Iowa State, in Ames, who, again, not quite enough for them to win a game.
Yeah, I think the team I'm most curious about the next 2 weeks is Oklahoma. They've got to get one more win to get in a bowl game. Tech have to get one more win, right? Tech does. So both of them have to get one more win. If either of them lose this week, then next week is going to be super interesting, especially if both of them lose next week.
Texas Tech and Oklahoma have 5. West Virginia, Iowa State each have 4. There's 6 teams that have qualified for a bowl.
Yeah, so that could get super interesting. Oklahoma State, Spencer Sanders coming off the bench, playing banged up and leading them to a win over Iowa State, but that was the definition of Iowa State pain. That's what they've been going through this year, where everything seems to be in their control if they can just get some offense, and then they lost because that's been what they are. I'm still kind of shocked at West Virginia's win, but they've got other issues they're dealing with now. So we'll see how, and if any of these teams can get 2 or just the 1 to finish out the season and get to a bowl game.
Yeah, I think that that was an inexcusable in some ways, and I'm probably using that word too much now. That was an atrocious loss for Iowa State. It's an atrocious loss. I don't know, man. That team just all year, I mean, they played really hard on defense, and you give them credit for that. But just the Hunter Decker's experience has not been good. That Oklahoma State team is all banged up, and they're able to just have, Spencer Sanders come in and save the day there at the end because they weren't getting much out of Gunnar Gundy and the rest of what they were trying to do offensively. So terrific job by Sanders to come in and basically do just enough to give them that extra edge they needed in a really low-scoring game. But that's atrocious to lose that football game if you're Iowa State. And I'm really curious to know where they go, the last couple of weeks and how that looks for them, and then how they retool in the offseason, because last year they had a little bit of hype because of all their seniors, standouts, and Matt Campbell's like, no, that's you putting this pressure on us. We're not looking at it that way. I don't look at it that way. And it's like, okay. And then you turn around this year and you don't have all those guys and you're really struggling. It's like, oh, maybe you think you missed a window? You think maybe that's what people were trying to point out? So whether or not that was your expectation, like it was your window for at least right now, because that window appears to be like concrete around it right now. I don't think like Hunter Deckers is inspiring people to lead them to believe that, you're a step away from being back to where you were just a year ago. I don't think that run game's anywhere close to having you believe that you're going to be dominating the way you were dominating with the likes of, the Breece Halls of the world the last few years. So the David Montgomerys, that's not there right now. So yeah, very, very tough season for Iowa State. I mean, they could technically still make a bowl game, although that seems like a long shot, but terrific win for Oklahoma State. I mean, what a gutsy win for them. Nice job by Spencer Sanders to come in when called upon, even though he's clearly not 100% healthy, and doing just enough, like I said, to win that game. So yeah, very impressed that Oklahoma State was able to win that game, and they're still in the Big 12 mix. Like, it seems impossible because it feels as though they've lost 4 games just because the last month has not been great for them. But it's actually not been as bad as maybe it's been perceived. And as a result, they're kind of still sort of in this thing at 7-3 and 4-3 in the conference. So I have to root for a little bit of chaos. And K-State can just win this weekend and it's over. It's K-State and TCU. But if craziness were to erupt, Oklahoma State would still have kept themselves in a position. But yeah, very interesting to see the heroics from Spencer Sanders, and nice win for them.
It was a great win for Oklahoma State because they've been slipping. A lot of it attrition, a lot of it is issues that they have had as well. All right, Garrett, let's go through. You saw the Will Howard tweet. Don Williams on what Joey McGuire today had to say about the Texas Tech job. Tyler Shuck starting. Expects him to start second straight game. Donovan Smith available in packages again. Just to have Barron, if anything crazy happens. Texas Tech, that was a nice win because it could have been really rough in Lubbock had they not beaten Kansas at home.
The reason I picked Kansas was because because Tyler Shuck was going to start, and we hadn't seen anything from him that would inspire you to think that he was capable of leading them to a victory at this point. But he played very, very, very well, and Tech won the game. Now Kansas's defense still has a ton of problems. I just thought that, just because of how Shuck had played when we'd seen him, it was probably not in the cards for him, but He certainly proved me wrong this week.
I actually looked at it quite the opposite because he was a starter to start the year. We just never got to see him because he got hurt so quickly. So, I mean, this was their guy to start the season, and Smith and Morton were their guys because they had to be. And so I think that I looked at it a bit differently in that it's at your place. You're in desperate need of a win if you want any chance at a bowl game. Kansas is good, but they're not by any stretch an unbeatable team, especially walking in on the road into Lubbock. And, then you have, if that had been Donovan Smith, I probably would have given it some thought. Maybe Kansas does come in and get a couple of picks. If it was Baron Morton, I think I probably would have gone Tech. But with it being Tyler Shuck, I just felt like, okay, that was their guy originally. He's an older guy at this point, and I just thought that that would be, a nice kind of reset for them at quarterback, and having obviously the need to win that game and having it be at home. I just felt like that was going to be a little bit too much for Kansas, and it was to Tech's credit, but Kansas, to their credit, they fought and had their opportunities in this game, no doubt, but just a little bit too much from the Red Raiders. So good win for Joey McGuire.
Dan,